lovely people, Nina here. So last week was Independent Bookstore Week, but last week also, it was last Saturday, and Amazon decided that they were going to have their own book sale because they couldn't do it any other week because they're an evil, horrible company, and Jeff Bezos is an evil, horrible person, and they did their book sale the same time span of the independent, like, indie bookstore day, which it was, there's no way it wasn't purposeful. Like, you can't convince me that they didn't do it on purpose to take money away from all these small independent bookstores. And I was so bummed out and annoyed that there were all of these really large content creators that took like sponsored ad deals with Amazon supporting and promoting this book sale when we should be supporting local independent bookstores and supporting Indie Book Week. Like, I don't understand. I was gonna say understand that that's where they get their money, but I don't understand that because there were so many other content creators who have the same amount of followers and didn't take the brand deal with Amazon and instead went to independent bookstores. So I just think it's awful all around. That being said, I went to a whole bunch of little independent bookstores, both last Saturday and the Saturday before. The Saturday before was my younger sister's birthday, and for her birthday, part of it, she wanted to go to different bookstores, and so that's what we did. So I have this whole set of books, and I know on my goals of 2025 for book reading and book goals, I said I wasn't going to buy any books or I was going to limit my book buying, but I think I can justify it for independent bookstores. That's what I'm telling myself, because then you're supporting local and it helps the local economy, right? That's what we're doing. But from this point on, I'm only reading what I have. I'm telling myself this, I'm setting myself accountable, I'm reading what I have, and if I want something, I'm going to see if the library has it first. And if I do buy a book, it'll be from an independent bookstore. Never Amazon, because we hate them. The first two that I have that I'm going to start with are both books on Gaza and Palestine. These are by Joe Sacco, I think is how you say his name. And he is a cartoonist, I guess, graphic novelist, but I think he calls himself a cartoonist. On one of my videos, someone had commented saying that I should read this one, which is Palestine, because I had just read Mouse, and so they were like, if you really liked Mouse, you'll probably like Palestine, you should read that. So this one I got at a little independent bookstore, and it's the history of Palestine, or at least I don't know if it's the entire history because it's not super long, but it's Palestine told through graphic novel form, and everything that's happened, the occupation of their land and all of that. And it says, in the early 1990s, in the waning days of the first Intifada, or uprising against the Israeli occupation, Joe Sacco spent 2 months with Palestinians in East Jerusalem, the West Bank, and the Gaza Strip. He listened to their stories and recorded what he saw, and the result was Palestine, a landmark work of comics, journalism, and first-person chronicle that has taken readers worldwide into the turbulent streets and loving homes and the squalid refugee camps of the Palestinian people. I feel like right now, with everything that's happening in Palestine and the genocide there, and the fact that they haven't had food or medical care supplies going in for I think they're at 2 months now. It's so awful, and it makes me sick to my stomach. So I feel like talking about this is something everyone needs to be doing right now, and reading about it. Yeah, it's just awful. I follow a bunch of journalists that are there in Palestine and in Gaza. And I also follow places like UNICEF, who have been on the ground there. And seeing it it's so horrible. And so I feel like reading about it and talking about it and just reminding people that we need to be paying attention to this is very, very important right now. The next one I have is Footnotes in Gaza. This is also by Joe Sacco. This is the only one that I didn't get at an independent bookstore. I got this at Barnes & Noble, but I couldn't find it. I had wanted it because I saw Art Spiegelman's documentary like 2 weeks ago, I think. Art Spiegelman is the one who wrote Mouse, and he had a documentary on PBS. It's so good. I will link it down below for you if I can find it, because I'm pretty sure it's on their website. It was on PBS. So good. About the process of writing Mouse and like what he went through. In it, Joe Sacco, I think it's Sacco, is in it, and he's talking about Footnotes in Gaza and his process writing this, and like the research and history and everything that went into this. He's in Art Spiegelman's documentary, and they talk about, it's such a great documentary. I'll put it down below if I can find it. But this one says it's the winner of the Eisner Award for Best Writer/Artist Nonfiction, the Ridenauer Book Prize, and a Los Angeles Times Book Prize finalist. And it says, Rafah, a town at the bottommost tip of Gaza Strip, is a squalid place. Raw concrete buildings front trash-strewn alleys. The narrow streets are crowded with young children and unemployed men. On the border with Egypt, swaths of Rafah have been bulldozed to rubble. Rafah is today, and has always been, a notorious flashpoint in the bitter rest of conflicts. Buried deep in the archives is one bloody incident in 1956 that left 111 Palestinians dead, shot by Israeli soldiers, seemingly a footnote to a long history of killing that day in Rafah. A cold-blooded massacre or dreadful mistake reveals the competing truths that have come to define an intractable war. In the quest to get to the heart of what happened, Joe Sacco immerses himself in the daily life of Rafah and the neighboring towns of Khan Yunis, uncovering Gaza's past and present, spanning 50 years, moving fluidly between one war and the next. This is, again, his research about Gaza and Palestine, and this, I'm assuming, is going to go into the specific incident, basement back, from 1956, and again, the history. And his first-hand account being there and seeing it in person. Again, I feel like very, very important to read. So both of these are on my to-be-read list. One from Barnes & Noble because I couldn't find it at a local bookstore, and the joke on the internet that Barnes & Noble now has to be considered like an independent bookstore because of stupid Amazon. And then this one from an independent bookstore. So those are two of the ones that I got. And I will be reading those. I feel like they're going to be hard read, but like very, very important. And then I'll report back when I've finished them. The next set I have are these ones. So this is Inciting Joy. If we're reading on Palestine and the sadness of that, I was like, okay, we're gonna balance it. This is Inciting Joy by Ross Gay. If you know by now, I love Ross Gay. I love his writing. I read his book of delights because my younger sister had given it to me because she was like, you need to read something happy and something positive. She gave it to me. I loved it. I'm obsessed with it. This is Inciting Joy, which is, it says, in these gorgeously written and timely pieces, prize-winning poet and author Ross Gay considers the joy we incite when we care for each other, especially during life's inevitable hardships. That's like the top first whatever line. And then it goes on. But I figured that I needed a bit of happy, a bit of joy, and so Ross Gay's The Book of Joy. Another Ross Gay book, this is Catalog of Unabashed Gratitude. And this is a book of his poetry, And it has the National Book Award finalist, winner of the National Book Critics Circle Award for Poetry, and the winner of the 2016 Kingsley Tough Poetry Award. And I'm assuming, I haven't even, I've looked through it like a little bit, but I do love his poetry, and I'm assuming this is maybe a little bit of more positive poetry, happy poetry. We'll see. I'll read it again and report back to you. But these two by Ross Gay, I love his writing. I know they're going to be amazing. I have no doubt. So, these two from independent bookstores. This one I got on Indie Bookstore Day. This one I got the week before Indie Bookstore Day. And then the last three that I have, I think that's it, are these three. This one, I'll do this one first. Okay, this is Braiding Sweetgrass. I've wanted to read this for so long. And I kept asking, my mom was like, I have a copy, someone took my copy, it's somewhere, I don't know where it is. And I was like, I want to read it. And she was like, I don't know where it is anymore, someone borrowed it. So I decided to get it at one of my local independent bookstores. And I've heard that it's very beautiful and very, very well written. Again, this has been on my to-read list for so long. It says, a botanist, Robin Wall Kimmer, has been trained to ask questions of nature with the tools of science. As a member of the Citizens Potawatomi, I hope I said that right, nation, she embraces the notion that plants and animals are our oldest teachers. In Braiding Sweetgrass, Kimmer brings these lenses of knowledge together to show that the awakening of a wider ecological consciousness requires the acknowledgments and celebration of our reciprocal relationship with the rest of the living world. So that's like part of the description. Again, I love reading about nature. I love reading about the climate and climate change. I love reading about just anything like connecting with nature, and so I just know I'm going to love this. And I've heard so many good things, and people just absolutely love it. So I have Braiding Sweetgrass. I'm very excited about this. The next one I have, should I do the, okay, I have two left. I'll do Al Pacino. Al Pacino's Sonny Boy. I sent this to my sisters and they were like, Al Pacino, and I was like, I wanted to read this. I've seen this all over the internet, and I've just seen people like say that it's really good. And so this is Al Pacino's Sonny Boy. Ow, my back hurts. Okay, this is the description in it. It says, from one of the most iconic actors in the history of film, an astonishingly revelatory account of a creative life in full. To the wider world, Al Pacino exploded onto the scene like supernova. He landed his first leading role in The Panic in Needle Park in 1971, and by 1975, he had started for movies The Godfather and The Godfather Part 2, Serpicio, and Dog Day Afternoon. I have to admit, I've never seen The Godfather. I don't know if I've seen the Al Pacino movies, but I like, this is kind of a weird pick for me, but I just heard that this is really good. Anyways, it's about his success in the landmark films and his mid-30s. He had already lived several lives. Basically, it's a synopsis, I'm assuming, of Al Pacino's life and his whole story. I don't know. I just thought it sounded really interesting. I was reading it in the bookstore and I was like, you know what? Yeah. And I've seen people online talking about it, so I was like, I just want to try it. And I love a biography, autobiography, anything where I get to learn about other people, I think is really fascinating. So, Al Pacino's Sonny Boy. The last one I have is romantic comedy. And all the independent bookstores on Indie Bookstore Day had arcs. And this one wasn't an arc, but the lady at the bookstore said they had like a whole table of like piled books that if you bought a book on Indie Bookstore Day, you got a free arc with it. And this one, she said she also had a bunch of books that she got from a book like conference that she went to. that she was giving away. And so this one isn't an ARC, but it was one that she got from a book conference that she was just, yeah, giving away for free. So this is Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. I've not read anything by Curtis Sittenfeld, but both of my mom and my sisters have. I think they read prep. And they've both they were like, you'll love this. It's really good. So it says, Sally Mills is a sketch writer for The Night Owls, a late night live comedy show that airs every Saturday. She's long abandoned the search for love, settling instead for a career and success and occasional hookup. But when Sally's friend and fellow writer Danny Horst begins dating a glamorous actress, he joins the not-so-exclusive group of dorky men at the show who've gotten romantically involved with incredibly beautiful and accomplished women. Sally channels her annoyance into a sketch, poking fun at the phenomenon while noting that the reverse would never happen for a woman. Enter Noah Brewster, a pop music sensation hosting this week's show. Sally and Noah hit it off instantly and sparks are flying. But this isn't a romantic comedy, it's real life. And in real life, someone like him would never date someone like her, right? It just sounds cute, and like, I am a sucker for a rom-com. So this one, the bookstore lady was like, you'll probably like this, I loved it, read this. So I got this one for free and it sounds really cute. So that is, okay, so this is my little book haul of all of the independent books that I got, or independent bookstore books that I got, minus, the one Barnes & Noble one. But we're now considering Barnes & Noble an indie bookstore because, rip. Yeah. So these are all the books that I got. I'm excited to read. My to-be-read shelf is growing. I have an April wrap-up coming next week, so stay tuned for that. It's kind of a hot mess. That'll be next week. But that's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know down below if you read any of these and what you thought. No spoilers, because I obviously haven't read any of them yet, but if you read any of these, or if you celebrated Indie Bookstore Day, what books you got, is there anything you think I should read? I will, if you give me recommendations, like the Palestine one, there's a high chance that I will look into it and probably purchase it, or read it, at least. So let me know any recommendations down below. If you would like to subscribe, you can. I just hit 100 subscribers, which is crazy to me. That's like so many people. Can't even fathom. So if you'd like to subscribe, you can. And I upload a new video every Friday. So I will see you next Friday with a brand new video. Bye!